This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good morning, Tuscaloosa. Good morning, Tuscaloosa, Internet world, West Alabama. How we doing today on a Friday? It's the end of the week. We're ready for a big weekend action. It's the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. Hope you and yours are doing well. You're watching us on the Bama Central Facebook page, the Bama Central YouTube channel. Listen to us on Apple Podcast, Amazon, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. We appreciate everybody who subscribes, rates, reviews the program. It leads to a greater reach and greater algorithm, so it means a lot to us if you have some time that you'll go on and do that. We're proudly presented by Derek Daniel, State Farm Insurance. Call Derek for all of your insurance needs at 205-758-3391. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. We appreciate Derek Daniel sponsoring and hosting the program. Give him a chance to help you out with all your insurance needs, home, life, or auto insurance needs. Derek Daniel can take care of you. We're also presented by Purple Turtle Roofing. We appreciate Purple Turtle Roofing for sponsoring the program. It is storming in Tuscaloosa today, so you want to make sure that you've got the peace of mind that you deserve with the right roof and making sure that your roof is up to snuff. Call Purple Turtle Roofing at 877-787-6635 today for your free roof inspection, or visit them online at roofturtle.com for all their products and services. We're hanging out with my friend Theo Fernandez. You follow him at Theo Fernandez __ on the Twitter machine, covering all things Alabama athletics for us at BamaCentral.com. And right now, out in California, working to cover the World Cup for Fox Sports. We appreciate Theo getting up early each and every day with us to talk some Bama football. Theo, or Bama sports. Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great today, Joe. Nice. It's good morning. Ready to get to work. Friday.
It's not storming over there, is it?
I'm sorry?
It's not storming in California, is it?
No, I haven't seen rain once in my whole time here. It's kind of crazy, Joe.
That's wild. I woke up this morning and the dog was basically ready. Come on, we got to go right now, because I guess she sensed that the rain was coming. I let her out, and right now I can hear it. It's storming outside. So very great to have the rain. We've had a lot of dry seasons over here in Alabama. So appreciative of the rain. Oh man,
softball fans aren't.
Yeah, softball fans tonight. Golly, I don't know how long it's going to last today. It's supposed to start at 6:00 tonight. Katie Wyndham's going to keep you up to date on if there's any delays or anything. So make sure you follow her at Katie Wyndham _. We'll be retweeting her when she puts out some updates. Theo, we've got a tough show today because Alabama baseball fell flat on their face yesterday. We'll lead off with a voicemail line because Hunter Brantley called reacting to Alabama baseball's abysmal performance in Hoover. And then I want to talk about the Iowa State athletic director, Jamie Pollard, basically telling the SEC and the Big Ten to go on and get if you want to split from the NCAA, go on and get. The SEC spring meetings is coming up next week in Destin. And so there's going to be a lot of conversations about the SEC creating their own rules or breaking away. And I don't know how viable that is. So we'll talk about that as well. But let's start with the voicemail line, because that'll kick us off on baseball. We can go to 205-462-7340, extension 800. If you want to be a part of the program, react to any game that you see, bring up any topic that you like, disagree with us if you want to, leave us a question right there on the voicemail line at 205-462-7340, extension 800.
That sucked. I'm going to sugarcoat it. That was pretty pathetic. But I know I talked all tough and acted all tough yesterday, but deep down, I know this is going to sound crazy. I did kind of see that coming. Even with Tyler throwing a no-hitter against them last time, I knew that the way they were hitting coming into that game, the way they've been hitting all tournament, they were barreling up everything. They were swinging it really, really well, swinging hot bats. I mean, they're seeing a beach ball come at them right now, and they're not missing it. And credit to them. O'Sullivan's tapping the right buttons. He's pushing the right things. And they're playing some of their best baseball. And Liam Peterson looked like a first-round draft pick, even though I said that he's been pretty pedestrian all season, and he has been. But like I said, it looks like they're starting to figure it out at the right time. But, that's not the end of the world. One loss doesn't define who you are. We're still 3-1 against them this year. And, they just caught us on a bad day. I feel like, I don't think throwing Tyler was the best idea. But then again, if you don't trust your ace in that spot to win one game in the SEC tournament, I feel like that sends a bad message to him. I really don't know another way you could have won. I think it was the best option to throw Tyler. I'm not saying that was idiotic or anything like that, but having thrown a no-hitter, you kind of knew the way they were hitting, seeing him again for a second time, you knew that they were going to string some hits together and score some runs. I didn't think it would be a 13 runs, however, but it is what it is, not the end of the world. There was a certain basketball team a couple years ago who lost to Florida in the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament, and they made the Final Four. So, let's see if this happens again. Let's see if lightning strikes twice, this time with baseball. It's going to be the start of something huge. We'll get a regional here, hopefully a super regional. I don't know, though. I'm not holding my breath on that. I think we could be somewhere on the fringe, 8, 9 range. The highest we'd be is an 8 seed. In all honesty, I think we were 6 coming into today, and then we just got curb stomped. We got our head bashed in by Florida, obviously, earlier yesterday. So we'll see what happens on Sunday, and then we'll see where we're at Monday with who else is in our regional. But great regular season. Let's see if we can win a regional. I have a lot of confidence in Rob still. I still think this team's really good. They, again, play to their ceiling. I think they're still a top 5 team in the country. The thing is, can you get to that ceiling? Can you get to that point? And will we be a top 8 national seed? Those are the things that are questions that need to be answered, and we'll find out here in the coming days. So let's enjoy Saturday. Let's enjoy today. And let's just see what happens and hope for the best.
There he is, Hunter Brantley on the voicemail line, calling to react to Alabama's 13-3 run rule loss. Didn't even make it the full 9 innings in Hoover. You went 8 innings and out in the SEC quarterfinal. And Hunter, I mean, there wasn't any other option than to pitch Tyler Fay. I'm sorry, there really wasn't any real better option than that. Florida just, the 2 home runs they hit in the 4th inning. Now, Rob Bond said that they didn't really impact the game. I disagree. The 2 home runs, they didn't impact the game as far as winning and losing. You lost the game right there. No, but they were missiles, Theo. 440 feet for both of them. One was 444 and one was 447. They were rocket launchers over the fence. And I felt like it was first home run from the second batter. It was lineups. I gotta refresh my stat broadcast to get the Florida lineup. The first home run from Brendan Lawson was just a mile over the fence, and then Fay comes up and strikes out Blake Searer. And I thought, okay, all right, you're back, you're settling back in. And then Ethan Surwick just launches another one, 447, just destroys the baseball. And so you go into the half inning at 2-0, and it's like, that's not really that big of a deal. But I think what it did for Florida was, we can really get after this guy. The 5th inning, it was a carousel around the next inning. It was a carousel around the base paths, and really Alabama just didn't seem like they were too. I don't know. I don't want to say they didn't have the right mindset, Theo, because all week long they talked like they wanted to go to Hoover and win, but they just didn't seem like they were really fighting that hard. Obviously, I mean, obviously Liam Peterson was incredible as a starting pitcher. Struck out 6 batters. You struck out 14 times on the day. I just didn't really love the approach at the plate. You never could find the clutch hit. I mean, you got runners on base in the first 5 innings. You got hits and runners on base in each of the first 5 innings and stranded runners. Just couldn't find the hit that really broke things open. And then Brady Neal, you end up misplaying a couple of balls in right field. I don't know. It just didn't seem like the best version of Alabama yesterday.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Like, I don't have any big, dark, doomsday take reaction from that game. Like, there is a certain element of it, I guess baseball superstitions. Fay was great his first time around. You almost expected, a rougher performance, and Florida just got to him. Ashton Crowther, Florida got to him as well, right? Crowther gets lit up later in that game, and that killed any potential at an Alabama comeback. Not to say that it would have happened, but you swing the bat a little differently when you have the hope that, we can pull off a comeback. Crowther has been very, very, very good for most of this season for Alabama. Not a type of performance you expect out of him. And Faye, this really was, this was his worst outing of the year. It was either this or because the Kentucky game, I feel like he was helped, or he was hurt a little more by Alabama's fielding. So, this is an all-SEC guy who happens to have his worst outing of the season just about, or at least a top 3 worst. I really don't have much on this, Joe. There's no major doomsday, Alabama's ruined for the postseason, etc. No, Rob, people knock on him a lot for saying this, but it is a 57-game season. You've played so much baseball, and you've played very, very good baseball lately, and you've run into a Florida team that a lot of people thought would be absolutely hosting a regional. And
they're smoking hot right now.
They are on fire. And you were unable to hit a guy who most people, myself included, thought was the best pitcher in the nation entering the season. Liam, he is that good. And he was completely on, and there's not much you can do about that. Florida does have 2 aces, man. I don't think there's a better 1-2 combo out of King and Peterson. I don't think any 2 pitchers in the country can go head-to-head with that. This Gators team is great. The Bats, 7 or more runs in 10 of their last 11 games. Really good Florida team that is going to have a great, great all-around contest with Georgia. I mean, that game should be awesome.
Yes, absolutely. And so, on one hand, it is a really good Florida team, for sure. It is a really good Florida team, and and in that same hand, you recognize that it's an exhibition. If you win or lose, it feels good or hurts, but it really doesn't matter because of what is to come next week. But Theo, I just wonder your perspective on 1-7. 1-7 for Rob Vaughn now in postseason play. Is he, look, SEC tournament, I can take in kind of this little bubble where, okay, it doesn't matter, but it'd be fun to win, but is it indicative? Can he get his teams? Are we confident that Rob Vaughn can get his teams ready to meet the moment in postseason play? Because it didn't look like Alabama was meeting the moment at all. Yes, I mean Florida's good. You give them that credit. Of course, they're good. I don't want to take anything away from Florida, but I don't really. My perception and perspective yesterday was, I don't really think that Alabama's meeting the competitive moment of, hey, we got to raise our game a little bit. It's postseason. Now, maybe that's because it's the SEC tournament bubble that's kind of standalone. It doesn't matter as much. I don't know. But what is the confidence level in Rob Vaughn to get the Alabama baseball team to a place of elevating their game into postseason play?
Look, we all remember the takes that were coming out following last year's regional, right? And look, last year's team had so much promise. And I think it's been really interesting hearing Rob talk about last year's team. The couple times he's brought it up this season, one of them being it was after the UAB midweek loss, right, where things were really in full swing of, falling apart, where they needed that last little run to get back on track. And he talked about how, last year's team, and he said this again after today's loss, last year's team avoided catastrophes. There weren't really moments where last year's team self-imploded for long stretches or they avoided getting swept. They didn't lose a midweek. You checked all the boxes. But it was also the team that was just lukewarm all season. Didn't really do all that much to make you think, you know what? This is an elite Alabama baseball team. I mean, the team didn't even win consecutive series at any point in the season. So last year you had an okay team that went into Southern Miss, lost 2 close games, and that was it, right? I mean, it was just, I don't know. I didn't expect that team to get out of the regional. I think a lot of
Expect them
people
to win one game, maybe.
yeah, exactly. You expect to win one game. And now, are you a little hurt by having to play Southern Miss instead of the 4 seed in that regional? Yeah, a little bit. But we shouldn't be making excuses for why can't you go in a regional and win one game, right? And 2 years ago, it was an even worse Alabama baseball team, but still one with some talent that goes in and drops its final. It was UCF game 1, I believe, and then it was the 4 seed Stetson that eliminates it. Like we know it has been bad, and to be frank, these struggles for Rob Vaughn's team continue back to his time in Maryland. Now, I decided when I took the beat, like as the season was fully starting, and I was writing my season preview, I told myself, okay, we're going to allude to the postseason struggles in this season preview, which I did. There's mentions of it.
Yeah.
And then we're not going to bring it up. We're not going to make any like doomsday, doubting Rob Vaughn until after the season. And then if things happen again this season that point in the same direction, then we get to have some serious conversations of it's been 3 years and not just the lack of postseason success, but postseason disaster for 3 straight years. Because that's what the story ultimately is going to be if this team does not get out of a regional. So, yeah, do I think that this SEC tournament loss to Florida means all that much? In the sense that, you don't get to host a super regional most likely. What it really does is it emphasizes any criticisms that will exist if you're not able to get out of the regional. Super regional doesn't matter if you don't get out of the regional, right? And that is ultimately a very, very real possibility for this team. That's where I'm at with the squad, Joe.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat with you right there, Theo. I know what a lot of the general Alabama fan wants to see them get all the way to Omaha, but my bar for Rob Vaughn in this program is lower. My bar is get out of the regional. Is really my bar is win a game in the regional. That's really the first step, but really the expectation is win the regional, get to a super regional, and then from there you're rolling the dice, and whatever it comes up, you're happy with because you're in a super regional and you've taken the program a step forward from where it's been the last two years. I want to get to the last part of Hunter's voicemail where he talked about seeding. He said, we probably blew a super regional hosting spot. And he was saying, we're right on the fringe, 8, 9, 10. I think Alabama is going to end up being 9 or 10, really, on Monday. What do you think? Where do you think they're going to be seeded? Because on Monday is the selection. We'll have one more show right before it, but I'm not sure what the content's going to be quite yet. We got to see how the weekend plays out. But if we don't really predict Alabama's seed, and plus to give the listeners more time to think about it, what do you think Alabama's seed will be on Monday?
Yeah, so Hunter alluded to D1 Baseball's field, which had Alabama at number 6.
Yeah.
I love D1 Baseball. They've been high. They've been a lot higher on Alabama than everyone else all season. D1 Baseball is kind of the runaway number 1 as far as college baseball coverage, but all season they've had Alabama 3 to 4 spots above just about all the other major polls. Maybe that's because they know, they think the committee will really value what Alabama did.
Maybe.
I think the more likely case is that maybe Alabama is due to naturally drop a couple spots. I think Alabama's firmly on the bubble, and Florida taking care of business like it is.
On which bubble? On the 16
on the national seed bubble. The regional is locked down. There's no world that I can envision in which Alabama does not host a regional. If that happens, I think the Alabama fans would be very right to show up to the offices with their pitchforks.
Yeah.
There's just no way you don't get a regional. It is. Sorry, I'm just confirming that.
Yeah, you're good. Look it up.
Florida State won yesterday. The ACC is the least user-friendly website of all time. Wow. I'm 90% sure that Florida State won yesterday and will be playing in the ACC semifinals. I think that they are a Florida State win plus an Auburn win, I think, would just about kill Alabama's chances at getting a national seed. If Auburn were to drop its game to A&M, then you have a really, really fun and fascinating debate between Alabama and Auburn, where Alabama maybe can use its head-to-head sweep to get that last spot. I still think Auburn played a very, very impressive SEC schedule, will be rewarded for it. Florida State, probably, like I said, one win away. Certainly, if they win, yeah, because they play North Carolina, so that would be a great chance to add a marquee victory.
Florida State.
I've got Alabama. I'm sorry.
Florida State did beat Pitt 8-5 yesterday. I've
got Alabama's probably the 9. I think just short of getting that spot. But then a part of me could see the Tide dropped a significant amount, not just because of the Florida loss, but because maybe we were looking at them a little too highly. I could see Alabama dropping as far as 13, but 9-13 is my range for the team. And if the cards fall right, there's an outside, maybe 20% chance that the Tide do get the regional.
So go all the way back to your season preview. Did you have Alabama getting the 13th overall seed? I know you were one of the ones that thought, okay, Alabama should have been ranked because Alabama was preseason wasn't ranked. And you were kind of saying, hey, this team is better than an unranked team. But 13, if you finish 13, but going into the NCAA tournament, that's object. I mean, you're having a successful season. You've had a success. Yes. Taking the program forward, Ravon. You've taken us forward.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely been a successful season up to this point in time. And seriously, all I would have needed to hear was 18 SEC wins, and that would have, I think, summed it up. I thought that Alabama's quote best case scenario was being in the mix for a regional spot. You're clearly above that, right? You clinched a regional. You really clinched a regional. Just about entering the last week of the season, right, with some time to spare. So 18 wins, regional, SEC quarterfinals appearance, if you want to frame it like that. You overachieved. The season up until this point, despite a lot of flaws, has been a success. You got about as much out of the team that leads the conference in errors as you were ever going to get. You were, I'm pretty sure, the only SEC team to keep your entire rotation intact the whole season. There's just so much to be excited about with what Alabama did. And it is funny from a legacy perspective, right? This is one of those teams that if it were to bow out in a regional, fans are talking 10, 15 years from now, like, oh, man, that 2026 squad, they could have been something special. I think we've reached that point where there should be a ton of pressure on this team to perform in the postseason because we know the team can perform. We know the team is capable, like Hunter said in his voicemail, of reaching Omaha. I think my headline on my season preview was, Omaha looms large as Alabama baseball prepares for season. I absolutely stand by that headline. That is you give credit to Rob Vaughn for elevating the program. You give credit to the MLB talent in Justin LeBron and Brady Neal, right? And Tyler Fay and Zane Adams, guys who've joined him in the first couple rounds of MLB draft talks. You can credit those guys. Credit everything. You can also just credit it being the University of Alabama, right? A place where the standard for success is so high. But for one reason or another, there's an expectation that this team will perform in the postseason. I don't think it's an unfair expectation at all.
I don't think it is either, Theo. So all eyes are going to go to Monday's selection, and we'll see where Alabama is ranked. We'll have that written for you at BamaCentral.com, and we'll be tweeting it out at Joe Gaither 6, at Theo Fernandez _ when the selection is made on Monday morning. I think it's 11 or noon. It's right there mid morning.
11. It might be 11 Eastern actually.
All right, so 10. We'll be ready. We'll be ready.
11, one of the two.
It will be ready early. Theo, any other baseball comments or thoughts that you have before I move us into the other topic I have for the day?
No, that's all I've got.
All right, perfect. Just wanted to give you the space to speak your mind. Before we get to the other side of the coin today, we want to let you know about our friends at Purple Turtle Roofing. At Purple Turtle Roofing, we're not just another contractor. We're your neighbor and your advocate when it comes to protecting your home or business. With years of hands-on experience, top-tier certification, and a commitment to excellence, we've built a reputation as Alabama's go-to roofing solution. We specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, emergency storm repairs, full-on roof replacements, insurance claim support, and more. You can visit us online at roofturtle.com or call us at 877-PT-ROOF-5. You can schedule your free roof inspection. We'll come out and give you your free roof inspection, let you know what's going on with your metal roof or your shingle roof. Any kind of roof, we'll let you know what's going on with it, give you the peace of mind, give you the information that you need so that you can decide if you want to make some repairs or if you're good to go. So visit them online at roofturtle.com. Purple Turtle Roofing, roofing with heart, built to last. All right, Theo, let's finish up a rainy. It is pouring outside. Rainy Friday here in Tuscaloosa. Hope everybody stays dry. Be safe on the roads. Make sure you're looking out for Derek Daniel State Farm Insurance if you need some car insurance. But goodness gracious, Theo, let's finish up by talking about the SEC and the NCAA again. We've talked about it for the last 2 weeks sporadically about the future of college athletics and the future of college sports. Next week is SEC spring meetings, and you'll have all the athletic directors and the football coaches, and everybody's going to be down there to talk about the future of the SEC. And one of the things that is on the docket is discussing the conference's future with the NCAA. Comments made by, I believe, the Georgia athletic director was talking about, okay, I'm ready to make an SEC-only set of rules that we all adhere to and let Greg Sankey administer the enforcement of said rules, Greg Sankey and his team. So you've really got a lot of whispers and a lot of discussions about breaking away from the NCAA. I thought Jamie Pollard, the Iowa State athletic director, and Iowa State is in the Big 12, so they are not in the Big 10 or SEC, but they are Power 4. Iowa State's athletic director, Jamie Pollard, went out there and essentially said, bleep it, let them go. I want to play you this sound from Jamie Pollard, and let's just talk about what this might mean for the SEC, for the Big Ten, as these discussions are going to get started next week in Destin. Here is Jamie Pollard discussing the future of the NCAA, the future of college sports.
It's frustrating because collectively the four conferences created the CSC, and we spent a lot of money. The four commissioners spent a lot of money creating the CSC. And so then to have two of the conferences not want to adhere to it is perplexing to me, because then it's like, well, why did we spend the money? If you didn't want rules, then why did you create this entity? That's what's frustrating to me. The same people that say they want rules only want rules if they don't apply to them. I mean, I said it 3 years ago. Yeah. Let them break away. I'd say I would turn it around and say we should break away from them. Let them go, but they have to go in all their sports and see how fun it is to play baseball and softball and track when it's just the 20 of you, and that's what I think we should do. But I'm one person, and that's probably a little more draconian, but that's how I feel about it. Like, let's quit talking about it, quit threatening, go do it. But if you're going to do it, you don't get to just do it in football and then keep all your other sports with us. No, take them all, see how fun it is.
That's Jamie Pollard basically saying, good luck, get out of here. We want to adhere to the rules. Theo, I think that this is really the crux of this entire issue is, I want rules to protect myself. Look, I'm a fantasy football player. A lot of our listeners play fantasy football. I know, Theo, you do as well. I've been in a league that's it's getting close to 15 years together. In the early stages of the league, all 10 players looked for ways and loopholes to get around things and to be all 10 players, including me. I'll take my own responsibility. I was, hey, can I get away with this? Can I get away with that? Where can I find a competitive advantage in this league? So, like, I understand wanting to look out for number one. I get that. But at some point over the 15 years, maybe year 5 or 6 or 7, we started to say, hey, we're all tired of the caddy arguing and you're cheating and you're doing this. We're tired of this. It's bad for the league. People are not having fun. It's not, people don't want to keep playing. We got to figure this out. And slowly over time, it became hey, what's best for the league? Is it best for the league if I, cheat a little bit? Or is it best for the league if we all kind of play above board and just play the best game we can? And it became a more fun league. It became a better league. It became more competitive. The camaraderie was higher. There's still arguments for sure. Like, that's the crux of this. And that's obviously small time. But, like, you've got colleges and you've got coaches who want rules really bad because they want it enforced on other teams. Hey, I want my rival to be caught for tampering. I want my rival to be caught, to be caught when they administer NIL illegally, when they administer it as pay for play and not really NIL. I want my rival to get in trouble because if they mess up academic standards, right? Just pick any angle, pick any lane. I want my rival to get in trouble when they step out of bounds. But if I step out of bounds, no, it's okay. I'm going to push the boundaries wherever I can until I get caught. And it's maddening. It's maddening. There is no competitive integrity throughout college sports at all. And really, I think that's what's been so frustrating for these administrators and for these coaches is, and look, we've talked about it with basketball, the way the rules and eligibility has been administered. We've talked about it this week. It's frustrating and it's maddening. So therefore, you have the SEC and you have the Big Ten saying, well, let's break away. We can control these 16 or these 18 institutions. We can create a set of rules, and these 16 teams in the SEC can all abide by them. And when they step out of line, Greg Sankey and his cronies can get them, and same thing in the Big Ten. Well, whatever rules we agree on, they can be enforceable. But really, the biggest issue here, Theo, is that you don't have competitive integrity really at all in the NCAA. So you see it with Will Wade. Will Wade sees what happens to Bediako and says, well, whatever, I'll just go get every dadgum G League player I can. It's maddening, Theo. I don't think that breaking away from the NCAA is a viable option. I think it sounds like a really convenient option and a really good option on the surface. Hey, let's get rid of the big bad NCAA. We'll have our own rules and we'll govern them. But I think Jamie Pollard puts it out perfectly right here. Yeah, go play by yourselves. I do love the SEC rivalries. I enjoy playing SEC opponents, of course. But goodness gracious, wouldn't you love to play TCU and Kansas and, Southern Cal, Miami, Florida State? Pick your favorite non-SEC Power 4 team, and you wouldn't play them in anything anymore. You want to play North Carolina in basketball? I do. I want to play St. John's in basketball. I want to play Purdue in basketball. Like, I don't want to just play the 15 teams in the SEC and that be it. Of course, that's the reason for a conference schedule and a conference season, and I appreciate that portion of the schedule. But the non-conference portion of the schedule is also very, very fun and important to me. So, I don't think that breaking away from the NCAA is a viable long-term option. It will be a short-term Band-Aid. People would love it for about 3 years, and then they'd get tired of it when all your sports are just playing SEC. What are you going to play Tennessee three different times? Not talking about football, but think basketball. Are you going to play Tennessee 3 times because you got them twice already, and then just add a third to fill out the non-conference schedule because you've broken away from the NCAA?
Well, you'll get to play your Big Ten teams every year too, right?
Theoretically, they could break away together. Sure, yes. You could. Or you could break away and have 3 separate entities: the NCAA, the SEC, and the Big Ten. It's crazy. Theo, I don't really think it's a viable option long term. But do you think that there is a solution where they split and everything works out hunky dory, or is there any sort of way to keep them all together?
I'm starting to lose hope at this has to be what it felt like living in America in like 1855, right? Like, there's a civil war coming. Secession is coming. Like, everyone on both sides, North and South, knows that there's going to be a secession. And it's just trying to do things to fix it, like passing bills and all that. And there's nothing you can do. That's where I'm at with the NCAA. I do not think there's any way that we are going to get any kind of legislation or any kind of resolution that allows the schools of the NCAA, which I'd group into 3 categories, to all be happy staying in the conference. These 3 categories are your high major blue bloods, which blue bloods is too strong of a term, just your high major big money brands, right? Your top 25-ish schools. Your second tier being the rest of the Power Fours, your Wake Forest, your Rutgers, plus a couple of mid-majors, right? A couple of the big money mid-majors, big brand reputation, whatever. And then the entire bottom half of FBS, right? You have 3 very, very distinct groups. And I would even, in FBS, I would include the rest of Division I, right? You have 360-something Division I members that play either no football or FCS football. Like, those have to be included as well when you consider this. How do you possibly appease all of this? We're just going to keep it Division I right now. You have a group of schools at the very top that think they're being held back by everyone else. You have a group of schools in the middle, like Iowa State, that are sick and tired of what the schools at the top are doing. And are like, and look, you can say something like this if you're Iowa State. And to a point, you're right. I think SEC would be very, very affected by playing, its own everything alongside the Big Ten. But also, like Iowa State, it's an empty threat. You cannot get by. You cannot sustain an athletics budget and anything without being propped up by the big money at the top. And that's where the top is mad, because they see that they're propping up everyone else. And then you have the schools at the bottom that are just playing a whole other game, right? It's night and day different. So I look at all of this, Joe. And now that money has become not that money wasn't a big part of college athletics before, but now that it has become the essence of college athletics, there's no way to save what is a very, very economically unfair system. That's what it is, right? It's almost feels a little socialist, right? With the top schools propping up everybody
Exactly
else.
right.
So it's never going to make economic sense. It's never going to be economically viable. I don't see how you possibly come to a conclusion here that helps people.
I don't either, really. I don't think that the SEC and Big Ten breaking away is a long-term viable option, but I don't see them all staying together either, because everybody's interest is in a different place, and everybody's interest is in their own budgets, and you can't blame them for that. But also, everybody's deadgum budgets are completely different. You can look inside the Big Ten. Ohio State's budget is vastly different from Purdue. And so what they're able to do, what their goals are, what they're able to participate in is very different. And so everybody's out to protect their own budgets, which is understandable because that's what they're responsible for. I don't really know what the solution is, Theo. Do you think that next week the SEC will make any progress towards hey, we're breaking away. I don't. I think it's just going to be conversations. I think it's just going to be discussions. And I think it's just going to be an airing of grievances, really, where everybody goes and complains to Greg. I mean, I tell you what, Pete Golding's going to go. Pete Golding, if I were Pete Golding, I would be pulling Greg Sankey aside and saying, you need to tell these mother bleepers to stop talking about my program. If we're all, a classy organization, you need to tell Steve Sarkisian to stop talking about basket weaving at Ole Miss. Like, quit throwing stones. There are some things that I'd be pretty fired up about if I were one of these member coaches. So I think that next week is going to be a whole bunch about nothing, and it's just going to be just a chance for these coaches to spread some hot air and be mad about something and to let it all out.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like Greg Sankey will feel like a counselor or something, or a therapist for these teams. I think that we are a year away from being a year away as far as the doomsday stuff goes. As far as you're still one really disastrous year of NCAA, of finances, etc. You need like there's still the floor can still drop out from under everybody. And it's definitely declined. It hasn't yet, right? So we're not 2 years away. I'm not saying it's going to come right now, but we still have a little bit of, safety net, whatever you want to call it, propping everybody up. We're not quite there yet. And, how these things go, Joe. It's a bunch of Lane Kiffin showing up, appearing on a studio show on the beach. Like, it's all just semantics and fun. And we'll get, Joe, like, we will get some fun sound bites. We will have some good content to talk about. That's all it'll be, content. Like, I don't think anything meaningful is going to happen at these meetings.
I don't either. I think there's going to be a lot of complaining. Greg, why did you take us to 9 games? Oh, you took us to 9 games. You better, there are going to be people arguing about 16 or 12, 24, 32 teams in the playoffs. They're going to just be arguing all kinds of just nonsense.
What I also wonder, I'm really fascinated. Like, I wish I could be a fly on the wall for all the stuff discussed about pro basketball players. So I'm Greg Byrne, and I really feel like I was, my program was thrown out to dry or hung out to dry during the Bediako situation. I think I'm waiting for something to be said about Will Wade, right? Why aren't you criticizing Will Wade, Mr. Sankey? So I think that's why I'm fascinated to hear what comes out about that at the meetings, what LSU basketball is doing.
That angle, I totally agree with. Greg Sankey is so quick to, not quick, but after some time in that saga, he put out that long statement. Where's your statement for LSU? Is he just waiting for these guys to go to court? Is that it? We'll see. But I'm with you. I think it's just going to be everybody mad at Greg Sankey for something, and him just being best interest of the league, kind of thing.
For the record, I do not think Greg Sankey has done a bad job.
Oh, he's done a great job.
I think he is in such a tough situation. The same way I think Roger Goodell is the best commissioner in sports by a long shot right now. And he's obviously faced criticism just because the rule isn't. Like, I think Sankey is doing just about the best he can in this situation.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you've grown the brand of the SEC tremendously throughout your time, and really grown the revenue in the league. So I'm with you. I think he's done a great job. But he's just in a hard spot.
Only to get harder.
Yeah, exactly. Theo, that's all I've got for the day, unless you have other thoughts. I know Alabama softball is supposed to start tonight at 6, going to be tomorrow at 2 o'clock, supposed to be watching the weather, and Sundays, if necessary, game is kind of TBD. Be watching the weather. Katie Wyndham's going to be alerting you about any kinds of weather delays. It is currently at 10 a.m. pouring in Tuscaloosa. Maybe it's going to stop, and we can play some softball, so we'll see about that. But, Theo, any other thoughts you have for the people before we leave them for the weekend?
No, I mean, if you want a silver lining to baseball losing, there's no debate about where to go. Obviously, today you could have went. There's no debate of where to go the whole weekend, right? There should be some packed houses at Rhodes.
Absolutely. Go to Rhodes Stadium, bring your umbrella, and cheer for the ladies as they try to get get back to the College World Series in Oklahoma City. we are going to pack it in for the weekend. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay dry. Check out Purple Turtle Roofing. If you got trouble with your roof this weekend, call them 877-787-6635. My man Brax Garrison would come out and check out your roof, give you the peace of mind that you deserve. I know these storms are going to be a little stressful for some people, so I hope that you keep Purple Turtle Roofing in mind. Keep us in mind on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify. Subscribe to the program, rate it, review it. Give it a little love on your favorite podcast platforms. And we are going to have a great weekend and talk to you on Monday right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com.